Do you find yourself constantly logging into each of your social media sites to post your content, spending countless minutes being wasted for not remembering your password, and then having to log into the next profile to do the same thing? What if I told you I have an automation task that will run locally on your machine that can post to up to 9 of your social media accounts with just one click? Sounds like something you might be interested in? We'll go grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and let's get started. So what exactly does this automation task do? This automation task is built up on n8n, which is a no-code automation platform. And if you watched my previous video, you'll know how to install all of that locally. Not only will it work with n8n, but you'll create workflows that pulls data from a Google Sheet and pushes your videos to social media accounts via Blotato. To start off with this workflow, we want to go ahead and create a trigger. We'll click on the plus sign and search for trigger or schedule. Either one will work just fine. The scheduler will automatically set up a time frame of when it will run this automation. So for instance, in this case, we've set it up to run once a day at midnight. The next node that we want to set up is our Google Sheets node. So click on the plus sign and search for Google Sheets. In the Google Sheets, what you'll want to do is make sure that the credentials are automatically in place. If you don't have the credentials in place, you can click where it says Create New Credential. From there, you will need to have the client ID and the client secret that you got from Google. After you have everything filled out, you can select that credential for the credential to connect with. For the resource, it'll be Sheets with Document. For the operation, it'll be Get Rows. From the list, just click on the drop-down and choose the Google Sheet from which it's going to pull the information from. And in this case, it's going to be the Automatic Social Media Posting version 1. Then it's going to ask for a sheet. Make sure that you choose the correct sheet. In this case, there is only one, so we're going to choose Sheet 1. In order to make sure that we're only getting one row returned, we're going to click where it says Add Filter. And for the column, we want to choose where it says Status. And for our instance, we're going to choose Pending. This is more than likely going to bring in more than one, so we want to make sure that only one is returned. To do that, under Options, choose Add Option, Return Only First Matching Row, and toggle the switch where it says Return Only First Matching Row. If you click on Execute Step, it should automatically reach out to that Google Sheet and pull in the information. What Google Sheet am I talking about? There's going to be a link in the description where you can click on. It'll open up a new Google document. From there, you can click on File and make a copy to your local Google Drive. Any of the fields listed on this Google Sheet could be added or removed, as long as it matches up with your current flow. I currently have a workflow that will use this Google Sheet. It will update all the fields and change the status from posted to pending. It will also update the video it created, and it'll add it to my Google Drive in a folder called Faceless Videos. One thing you'll need to make sure of is that your videos are shared so that the API can actually read them when it's trying to upload it. To do that, you can click on the share icon or the 3 dots and then go to Share and Share again. Make sure that it is shareable and anyone with the link can view. Now, here's how we can manually add content to this Google Sheet. And remember, the fields are just a guideline. You can remove them or add them if you don't need them. I'm going to open up my Google Drive folder where all my videos are. I'm going to go ahead and copy the link it gives me here. And I'm going to paste this link in the G Drive URL field. Now I'm going to just fill out some of these other fields. There we go. And now it is ready to go. So let's move on to the next step of the automation process. The next step is to create a code node. If we click on the little plus sign and search for code, go ahead and click on the one that says code. We're going to go ahead and delete everything in here in the JavaScript section. And we're going to go ahead and copy and paste the information that I have listed in the Google Doc I've applied. Why do we need this? So if you're adding the links manually, you'll see that they're slightly different than what we need them to work with Blotato's API. So for that, we have a code node that will scrape the URL and pull out the needed information. Then it'll rewrite the URL in the format that we need for the API. No need to write anything, it's already written for you. It's also located in the downloadable document that I have in the description. Next, we'll move on to the next node. In this case, the node is going to be a set node. So click on the plus sign and search for the word set. What we'll want to do is go ahead and choose where it says mode and change it from manual mapping to JSON. Copy and paste the information that I have in the downloadable document and paste that into the JSON fields here. We're going to go over each one of these here in a second. In order to get the information that you're looking for in this section, we'll need to log in and create a Blotato account. If you don't already have one, I have a link in the description below where you can click on it and sign up for a free 7-day account. However, you'll need to sign up for an actual paid account if you want to use the API. Once we go to Blotato and we've signed in, you can click on the little icon on the bottom that says Settings. From there, you'll see on the top where it says API. And then you'll be able to copy your API key. Once you've copied your API key, we'll go back into the node that we have created. And where it says Blotato API key, go ahead and put your Blotato API key in between the two quotation marks. Once you've logged into Blotato, you'll need to be logged in to the social media account for which you want to set up. For instance, if I want to use this workflow for all 9, you'll need to log into each one and then choose login with that social media account. For instance, you'll see here where it says login with Twitter, login with LinkedIn, logged in with Instagram, and so on. Let's log into the Instagram account, and then we'll go ahead and choose where it says allow. Once you've allowed that access, you'll see down below where it'll have your current social media account, and then to the right, it'll say copy account ID. You'll need each one of those IDs to put into the node that we have set up in our n8n instance. I'm going to go ahead and go through that right now. I'll be back in just a moment while I have all that filled out. Okay, now that we have everything filled out, let's rename this node to prepare for publish. Next, we'll create a new node. This time, it's going to be an HTTP request. In here, we're going to change the method from get to post. And in the URL, go ahead and copy and paste the URL that I have in the Google Doc and paste it in the URL field. Next, the authentication should be none. We're going to go ahead and toggle where it says send headers. Make sure it says using fields below under specify headers. The name should be all lowercase, Blotato-API-key. The value we will get from our previous node, and we can just simply drag it and drop it into this value field. It should say the prepare for publish item.json.blotato_API_key. Next, we're going to go ahead and scroll down and make sure that the send body is toggled on. We're going to make sure it says JSON under body content type. Under specify body, we're going to say using fields below. And in the name, make sure it says URL. And in the value, we're going to go ahead and grab the value from the rewrite URL, and we're going to drag that down into this section also. Now that this one is done, we can execute this step as well. Now we have to set up social media accounts that we want to use. Now you don't have to use all 9. And if you're using the template that I've provided, you'll see that a lot of them are deactivated. Simply, I don't use all of them. I only use a few. So if you want to use them all, you can simply hover over the one that you want to use and click on the little power icon to reactivate those. If you're not following along with the template, create a new HTTP request node. So if you click on the little plus sign, search for HTTP request, and it'll open up another node. It'll look very similar to the one that we had prior. Let's do this one for Instagram. We're going to change the method from get to post. And again, we're going to use the same URL that we used last time. So copy and paste the URL from the document below, paste it into the URL field. Authentication will be none. We're going to toggle where it says send headers. Under specify headers, again, using fields below. In the name field, it's going to be just like the previous one, all in lowercase letters, Blotato API Kie. And the value is going to be the same as it was in the previous node as well. We're looking for the Blotato API key. Scrolling down, we're going to toggle where it says send body. And then we're going to make sure it says JSON. Under specify body, we're going to choose using JSON. And for Instagram, we're going to copy and paste what I've written for Instagram in the description below. If you're following along with the Google Doc, you don't need to fill any of this information out. It'll automatically fill in for you. However, if you're not, you can copy and paste the information that I have listed in the Google Doc for Instagram, and make sure that we update where it says account ID. Now the account ID is going to come from the prepare for publish node that we have. And all you're going to do is drag the one that says Instagram ID in between the 2 quotation marks next to where it says account ID. For the content under text, you'll open up your Google Sheets and you'll grab the information where it says description, and you can drag that in between the 2 quotation marks, and that'll add that description there for you automatically. And then for the media URLs, you're going to go ahead and choose under the upload to Blotato, the URL field, and just drag that in between the 2 quotation marks as well. We're going to do this for each and every one of the accounts that you want to use. Like I said, you don't have to use all 9. You can use 1, you can use 2, or if you are very vast in all social medias, you can use all 9 and it'll post to every single one of them. Now, the last thing that we're going to do is add a Google Sheet onto this upload Blotato as well. And in there, what we can do is update our Google Sheet from where it says pending to posted. Make sure you select the correct credentials. We're going to go ahead and select a sheet within the document. We're going to append or update a row. And from the document, we're going to go ahead and choose our automatic social media posting V1. From the sheet, we're going to choose sheet 1 again. And in this case, the column to match on is we're going to choose the ID, and we're going to go ahead and just grab the ID from the left and post it into the ID section. We don't need to update the title, the description, the script, the URL, anything except status. And in this case, our status is going to be complete. This allows us to let us know that that video has been posted. If we execute the step there, it should automatically update the Google Sheet with complete. Okay, the one thing I forgot to mention is under YouTube. When we're posting to YouTube, you can see here that the privacy is set to unlisted. So when you post these to YouTube, you'll be able to go ahead and check on the status and check on the visibility. You'll want to change the visibility to posted or to public. So that way everybody is able to see your video. Let's go ahead and get that done now. And that video should pop up here.
Did you ever wonder why bananas peel the way they do? It's all about that protective skin, a natural casing that keeps the fruit fresh and sweet inside. Think of it like a banana's personal armor. The peel is actually a modified leaf that rolls off as the fruit ripens, and when you twist the tip, it creates a tiny tear that lets the rest slide away. If you peel from the bottom, you're forcing the peel to twist against its natural flow, which can cause that annoying string of banana pulp. That's why the top is the secret, letting the peel glide cleanly. Next time you peel, give the top a gentle tug and enjoy the smooth roll. And remember, the banana's peel is edible too, full of fiber, vitamins, and even antioxidants. So the next time you finish the fruit, toss the peel into a smoothie or use it to make banana bread. If you like this peek, smash that like button, share with your friends, and hit subscribe for more tasty science.
Now that we have everything set up, all you have to do is schedule your trigger and it'll run whenever you want. Thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate you listening. If you have any other questions or concerns, leave them down in the comments. We'll see what we can do to help you out. Till next time, take care.